Welcome to our YouTube channel, where wisdom meets inspiration. In this channel, we share valuable insights to help you become the best version of yourself. Our content is designed to uplift your spirit and enrich your life. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to stay connected with this incredible journey. Click the subscribe button below.
Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste everyone and welcome to today's session, Basics of Sadhana 2. We are going to discuss Sadhana Panchakam. Today the text which I am going to dwell upon is Sadhana Panchakam, a kind of a precursor to the study of the Upanishads, because this is a hymn written by Shankaracharya which is very unique. In what sense is it unique? It is an introduction as well as a summary of Vedanta. You know, introductions are small and they may not give the whole gist, but this particular hymn is so unique. It introduces Vedanta to us and it also summarizes Vedanta in a sense. And we are given specific steps. You know, this hymn has 5 verses. Each verse has 8 steps. So 5 into 8 makes 40 steps. So they are actually instructions, you can say, not exactly commandments but instructions. 40 set of instructions for our inner life of sadhana. This is the Sadhana Panchakam. What is its purpose? Its purpose is to usher us into spiritual practice and bring about great clarity of mind. So when there is clarity, you simply penetrate into the truth. Nothing more is required. So this is done by systematically purifying our body and mind. This mind-body apparatus, by purifying our sense of ourselves, the ego sense. So this is what the Sadhana Panchakam does for us. In spite of the brevity of the verses, they are very profound, they are very insightful. So we will be taking up these verses now. I will go step by step. I will take up every little instruction so that we dwell on it for some time and then we proceed. We will try to understand what Shankaracharya is going to tell us. This Panchakam is also called Upadesha Panchakam because I told you it's a set of 40 instructions for spiritual practice. So it is also called Upadesha Panchakam and it follows a kind of Sopan Arohan Nyaya, it is called, which means step by step process. You are climbing steps to higher and higher spiritual practice towards spiritual realization, self-realization. So these are all the specialities of this particular hymn, Sadhana Panchakam. Before I begin it, I would like you to buy this book. I am showing you the book, I hope it's clearly visible. This book is called 8 Upanishads by Swami Gambhirananda. It's an Advaita Ashram publication. You can go to the website of Advaita Ashram and order the book online. So this book will be important for our study from the next class onwards because we are going to study the Upanishads. This is volume 1 which I showed you just now. It has 4 Upanishads which we will be studying. So please buy this book and you can order it online. I repeat the name once more, 8 Upanishads, volume 1 by Swami Gambhirananda. You can of course also order volume 2 and keep it in your home library so that you can go through these Upanishads. But we will be starting with the first Upanishad in the next class, Isha Upanishad. Now let me go back to Sadhana Panchakam. These are verses which you will enjoy, especially those of you who have been doing spiritual practice. You have been at spiritual practice for a long time. You will enjoy these verses, the kind of profound insights which Shankaracharya gives us through these verses. And what are they going to lead us to? I told you, great clarity of mind. This is what it will bring us. So the very first verse with its set of 8 instructions, it is actually preparatory, you can say, preparatory to intense spiritual practice. So let's take up, I have split the verses so that the instructions are followed like that. Please go to the first verse, the first line. I am sure many of you have the text in your hands. Vedo nityam adhiyatam. See, it's pretty obvious. Those of you who have a good knowledge of Sanskrit, you will understand it immediately. They are very simple verses. Vedo nityam adhiyatam. May you study the Vedas every day. Please study these texts every day, he is saying. Why? Why should you study some of this literature every day? So that these ideas, it's like an intake from the mind, for the mind. You take something of this into your mind every day, so that the vrittis are created accordingly, so that your thoughts are tinged with this great ideal of human life, the spiritual ideal. So keeping in touch with this literature is very important. Many times, it's only the Sunday class that people attend. After that, the whole week they are busy with a whole lot of things. No, the instruction is keep in touch with these ideas every day. Your morning routine should start like this. That is why in the last class, I told you a basic regulation of your lifestyle, a sattvic lifestyle, a higher quality of life, not just increasing the material standards of our life. This is paramount to sadhana, a life of sadhana. Regulate your everyday life so that every day, at least 1 hour in the morning, you are able to devote to all this spiritual practice, scriptural reading, reflection, quietude. Please devote some time to this every day. You must be prepared to invest your time and energy. Otherwise, I don't know how fruitful will be our study of the Upanishads. So this commitment I want from you. So you see, this is the very first instruction in the hymn. Step by step, he is going to tell you what spiritual practice is about. So, Vedo nityam adhiyatam. Then he says, Tad uditam karma swanushthiyatam. Perform the diligent duties enjoined in the Vedas. In the Vedas, you have the Karma Kanda and the Jnana Kanda. You have a portion which tells you regarding your duties in life. And you have duties and rituals, all this portion is there. Then you have the knowledge portion. Now, to be dutiful, to be able to fulfill our obligations in life is preparatory to taking up intense spiritual practice. You cannot run away from your duties. No matter where you are placed, what you are doing. This is fundamental. Our scriptures never ask us to run away from anything. You may transcend that particular set of duties after a particular time, but initially you must be dutiful. You must be committed in whatever you have taken up. So the Vedas actually speak of Nitya Karma, Naimittika Karma, and they also speak of Nishiddha Karma and your Kartavya, your duties, normal duties. So Nitya Karma is some things which you have to perform daily. I told you initially, good habits of everyday life, getting up early in the morning and after your ablutions, going into some form of spiritual practice, taking up some particular technique, keeping in touch with the scriptures throughout the day, leading your daily life in a way that you are able to offer it at the feet of the Lord. That kind of activity throughout the day, not the kind of activity which you shirk from, which your own mind will not like. So this is the daily routine. You can say in the modern context, this is like Nitya Karma. Your daily routine should be elevated. It should be sattvic. And Naimittika Karma on special occasions like today, for example, the Independence Day, pray for the good of our nation, for the good of all your brothers and sisters. Pray for the good of the whole world. So Naimittika Karma means on special occasions, be sure that you perform your duties, whatever is enjoined, whatever is required. It's a strange thing that today by special days, people only recognize 2 days, their own birthday and the Valentine's Day. This is what they generally celebrate here. But it is so very important to celebrate the birthdays of great people. Don't we have these observances everywhere? Everywhere in India you have them. You celebrate Buddha Purnima, you celebrate Krishna Janmashtami. Why do you celebrate all these festivals? So that you remember these great personages. You remember the great ideals they gave us. You remember their great actions. So this is so very important. So this is all included under special duties which you have to observe. After all, what does it do to you? It encourages your sattvic life. It gives you beautiful vrittis in the mind. They will become your sanskars in course of time. So don't ignore these. Nitya karma, naimittika karma, and then there are nishiddha karmas also. There are certain set of actions which should not be performed, like lazing around, wasting your time on television or internet, bad company. All these include nishiddha karmas. Anything that lowers your mind, lowers your energies, that should be avoided consciously. And your duties based on your profession, based on your family life, based on your obligations to your elders, to all this, they have to be performed. So this is what is meant by perform your duties diligently and as ordained by the scriptures. This is the meaning of the second step. So be dutiful in your everyday life. Be sincere and honest. This contributes to your inner integrity, and that is the way you go forward in spiritual life. You know, in the Imitation of Christ, there's a very beautiful observation. It says, a clean conscience will give you more joy than all the joy of philosophy. A clean conscience. You have done your duties to the best of your ability. And if you keep a clean mind and a clean heart, a clear mind and a clean heart, you will always be happy. That comes only when you have been dutiful in life. So this is the second important instruction which Shankaracharya gives us. The third is teneshasya vidhiyatam. Dedicate these actions as a form of worship to the Lord. So don't think these actions, these duties are binding you or you want to run away from them. They are an offering. See, this is what Karma Yoga is about. When every duty you are able to offer it at the feet of the Lord, that very work will take you far ahead in spiritual life. So you see, Karma Yoga is in a sense included here. Dedicating actions and duties as a form of worship to the Lord. Whatever you are doing, you offer at His feet. Then you have apachiti kamye matish tyajatam. Desire prompted activities which you are doing mainly out of impulse, out of compulsiveness of mind, these are to be given up. So check and see which are these activities which hijack your energies throughout the day, and they are unnecessary. They are just the product of the restlessness of your mind. When you are simply engaged in some things just to entertain the mind or to put down the negativities in the mind, give up such actions. If you lead a very goal-oriented life, a clean life, you will not require these activities at all. So shake them off, he says. Then, papaugha paridhuyatam, the multitude of sins which we have accumulated, which take the form of not feeling nice in our own minds. You know, that is due to the sinful tendencies of our minds, giving in to the shad ripus, kama, krodha, madha, lobha, moha, matsarya. This constitutes sin. So when we indulge in this, what happens is the mind gets colored by that, it gets contaminated by that, it will go into tamas gradually. So then you require techniques to remove you from that state. So that's why he is saying, get rid of this multitude of sins of the mind by opting for a sattvic way of life, full of energy, full of awareness, where the shadripus are under control and where you have committed yourself to good elevating habits and to keeping in touch with the scriptures. So Vedanta is like it comes to the very sattvic mind, the very well developed mind. So that is why these are all preparatory steps. Then he says, Bhavasukhe dosho anusandhiyatam. Reflect upon the inherent limitations of worldly pleasures. The mind will rush towards worldly pleasures as long as you are not convinced of their innate limitation. In the last class I told you how artha and kama, they don't actually satisfy us or fulfill us in any way, but the mind, due to its restlessness, wants something of that to come constantly into its ambit. So sukha tyago tapo nityam, it is said, shaking off this desire for pleasure after investigating it. This will make you take your stand on the sattvic life. As long as the mind is constantly rushing outward towards just pleasurable objects, after some time it will get sick with those very objects. So understanding this cycle and how these tendencies actually hijack our energies, understanding that and developing a certain amount of displeasure, distaste for them, this is essential to the life of sadhana. This is what is meant by vairagya. Vivek and vairagya means this. In your own mind, you have understood the inherent limitations of a merely pleasure-oriented life. You are now seeking for higher happiness, and that will come through sadhana. Then he says, Atmecha vyavasiyatam. So vyavasiyatam is an important word. It means intensifying your desire for self-knowledge. Some amount of inclination you may have, but to plunge into sadhana, you must intensify it, you must raise it to a certain pitch. Then your entire personality will get tinged by it. Your very look, the look on your face, your bhav, it gets radiated through your entire personality. That you are after something higher than mere sense life. And you are prepared to shake off the entanglement that mere sense enjoyments bring. You are prepared for that. So it will show in your personality. Such a person, he develops very high vital energy because he is not prepared to invest his energy in worthless things. So this energy actually radiates and it affects other minds also. So this is an essential step. That is why he is saying Atmecha vyavasiyatam. Intensify this desire for self-knowledge. Otherwise, you will not stick to your sadhana. Then, the next step is Nijagrihat Turnam Vinirgamyatam. Now, this requires some amount of explanation because, I find a number of youngsters coming here also to this ashram here, telling us how to handle this step. What exactly does it? Actually, it means literally, as soon as this desire for intense self-knowledge comes, you must leave home. It actually means you must detach yourself from mere worldliness or sense objects. Because wherever you go, please remember you carry your mind with you. So, detach the mind from worldliness. That is the essential. Leaving the home means essentially that. Because wherever you go, you carry your mind with you. Every year I run away to the Himalayas, at least whenever it's possible for me. And you can clearly see that. So I will not tell you that don't go there, don't go to the Himalayas. You taste the ambience of these places. You can always do that, but always remember, you carry your mind wherever you go. So if you have developed spiritual tendencies in your mind, you actually don't have to go anywhere. Where you are, that will be a tapovan. So inner detachment is the most important thing. If you are detached from within, you will feel the silence, the quietude that is required for self-knowledge right within yourself. In fact, even if you go to the Himalayas, that is what you are going to do. You are going to only unearth the inner hankering and the inner quietude, the calmness within yourself. So please do it right where you are and condition the mind to this way of living, this constant engagement with the external, constant titillation of the senses. This should be shaken off if you want establishment in this. Otherwise, the senses will keep dragging you out and all the energy will go in bringing the mind in again. So you go nowhere, you are back to square one in sadhana. So that is why all these steps are mentioned. Turnam means immediately, quickly, do it quickly. You must conserve the energies of youth, and it is only in youth that you will be able to get this level of energy to plunge into sadhana. So make sure that your energies are well conserved and directed towards your spiritual goal. Sangha, Satsu, see, this is the preparatory. Then what do you do as a result of the renunciation of your mind? Sangha, Satsu, Vidhiyatam. Now seek the company of the truly wise man, of the truly holy. Holiness itself means 100% purity is holiness, complete purity. So that kind of a mind, you will know it as soon as you see it, because it radiates that feeling. The intensity of that mind will just get radiated from the personality. So seek such company so that your own mind, mind affects mind. Ultimately, this is how the change is made. A lighted torch can light other torches, isn't it? So find such company. Shankaracharya has in many verses, actually not here but in other books, he has dwelt long on this, the importance of holy company, great company. He says, Trijagati sajjana sangati reka bhavati bhavarnava tarane nauka. The one thing which will help you cross the ocean of material existence is sajjana sangati, the company of the great and the wise, the company of elevated souls, holy souls. So you may have to go a little out of your way to get them, but do it, and then you will understand their influence on your mind. So this is the next step. After that he says, actually this hymn, slowly it is explained step by step, but I am covering it in this one class for the simple reason you want the study of the Upanishads as a preparatory. We are going through this. So quickly I am covering this hymn. Please note every step and pay attention to it, the requirements of sadhana. The next step he says, Bhagavato bhakti dhridadhiyatam. Cultivate steady devotion to the Lord. See, this is the most important part. If you don't develop devotion to the Lord, you will develop devotion to somebody else. Please know this. This is the nature of the human mind. It will invest its emotion in someone or the other. So better invest it in the Lord, in the highest. If you learn to develop bhakti for the Lord, automatically your emotions find a direction, find a way to express themselves, and you will grow in bhakti. So this is a most important step to get inner psychological balance. See, spiritual life, intense sadhana is only for the highly psychologically balanced. People who are psychologically or emotionally imbalanced cannot do intense sadhana. So first bring about this inner balance by committing your energies to the highest. And you do that through devotion to the Lord. See, Shankaracharya himself is recommending Bhakti Yoga also. Please see this. Without this commitment of your emotion to the highest, to Ishvara, to the Lord, your emotions will not find a way. You will invest them in somebody who's a little better than you. So that is why it is important to develop bhakti towards Lord, towards God. For that, do whatever is necessary in your own homes. You can introduce so many steps, isn't it? A single arti, if you are performing every day, you will understand its influence on you. If you are performing some form of puja, you will feel the sense of sanctity that is involved in it. So bring back this emotion of sacredness and sanctity into your homes. This is required for intense sadhana. This is actually missing in today's modern lifestyle. We have ignored these essentials for our psychological health. We must bring it back. As sadhaks, we should be particular about this. If you bring it back into your home, your children will pick it up. They will keep up these traditions. At least bring holy scriptures into your homes so that they know what is good and great in life. Do this step by step and you will see your life of sadhana will be smooth. Then he says, Shantyadi Parichinyatam. Cultivate these qualities which we already discussed, Shama, Dama, all these qualities, which means calmness of mind, self-control. Step by step cultivate these. As you go on cultivating these, you will find the life of sadhana has become easier and easier. Then Dridhataram Karmasu Santyajatam. Give up desire prompted action, which means strong feelings about material gains. Once your survival needs are taken care of, the mind should naturally incline towards what is higher in life, isn't it? Otherwise, well, that's a defunct mind, an undeveloped mind. So develop this. Give up desire, the desire for merely getting material gains out of everything. So this kind of desire prompted activity should be sidelined, put aside. You make your everyday, that doesn't mean you run away from your action or your profession. It means converting that into a offering to the Lord. Then it becomes karma yoga. Whatever you are doing, wherever you are placed, you must be able to put, at the end of the day, you must be able to put your actions at the feet of the Lord. This is an offering at your feet. Then it becomes karma yoga. So please know this. If you read our scriptures, this is what you will find. Just by this practice, people have attained the highest. Karma yoga is a very great discipline. You see, all of this is being recommended here in the Sadhana Panchakam. Then he says, Sadvidvan upashripyatam. Now you must approach a man who is capable of unfolding the truth of Vedanta. See, this type of a powerful mind is required, which will direct your own mind to the source of your being. So find such a person. Such people are rare but available. So if you have the intense desire, you will find them. Just the inner desire and you will find them. Then he says, Pratidinam tat paduka sevyatam. How do you worship the teacher? You don't bring a whole lot of ritual into your relationship. You, paduka sevyatam means you are humble before him. You may worship his foot, his feet, but you are humble in front of such a person because you are wanting that knowledge. You are wanting the intense radiation of his personality. You are wanting that aura. You are wanting that purity. So you will remain humble. That is the meaning. If you are skeptical and cynical and assertive in that presence, you will lose the subtle vibration. So be humble there. Be intelligent. If you are intelligent, you will keep a low profile. Then the next step he says is Brahmaikakshara Martyatam. Ask the teacher to unfold this knowledge of Brahman, which is without destruction, which is beyond the dualities of life. So you must know what to ask a spiritual person. This is also there. If you have true spiritual aspiration, you will know what to ask. Otherwise, there are people who approach spirituality with material desires. I want the fulfillment of this, I should get this job, my daughter should get married, I should earn more money. Oh, these are just material gains, isn't it? Now you have arisen far above that. I am telling you, once your survival needs are taken care of, the mind should take this turn. This is the purpose of human life. So this is what he is saying. Ask for the highest knowledge of Brahman. Seek to unfold it through the words of the teacher, because the powerful mind of the teacher will make this a reality for you. Then he says, you see, now these are the most important steps. Please pay attention to it. Shruti Shirovakyam Samakarnyatam. Listen properly to the Mahavakyas from the mouth of the teacher, the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads. Shruti Shirovakyam is this. The crest jewel of the Upanishads are the Mahavakyas. That which shows you the relationship of your own self with the ultimate reality of Brahman. Listen to this carefully from the mouth of the teacher and enter into these states. Recognize your own true being. You are not different from Brahman. connect with this knowledge through the words of the teacher, he says. Then vakyarthascha vicharyatam. Dwell upon the arguments or the meaning of these Mahavakyas. Deeply dwell upon them. Don't take these things lightly. As you dwell upon them, the mind will become clearer and clearer. Clarity means perception. Perception is realization. Truth is ever there. Our mind is clouded. That's the whole problem. You see, the sun is ever shining. When the clouds come in front of that sun, you do not find sunlight. Isn't it? You don't see brightness. So the whole problem is the clouds in our minds. The clouds of various thoughts, various conditioning, negativities, all this, they cloud the mind and they hide the sun. That is why you require Vedant. You require the vrittis which will clear these clouds and bring back the light which is ever shining, which is ever there. So that is why Vakyarthascha vicharyatam. Dwell on the meaning of these scriptural passages. And Shruti Shira Paksha Samashriyatam. Follow the line of arguments of the Shruti. Follow the line of argument that the Shruti gives you. It will lead, only Vedanta has this capacity, please understand. It will clear the buddhi through its form of logic. It will clear your mind completely and make realization possible. It will blow away these clouds of perverted thinking, convoluted thinking. So that is why Shruti Shira Paksha Samashriyatam, and the next one you see Dushtarka Suviramyatam. Don't indulge in wrong reasoning based on your sense life. The mind will keep suggesting all these things. You must have the capacity through this Guru Shakti to put it down. Follow the line of argument of the Shruti. So what will it lead to? Shruti Mata Tarko Anusandhiyatam. That way you will reason keeping in view the vision of the Shruti. Shruti is the Vedas, the Upanishads. They will lead you directly to the truth if you just follow them and through the teacher, through the words of the teacher. That powerful mind will lead your mind to that truth. So that is why don't indulge in wrong or perverted ways of reasoning, thinking, tamasic ways of understanding things. Shake off all that and resort to Vedant, he says. Brahmasmiti vibhavyatam. Think deeply about your own real nature, which is Brahman. I am Brahman. Learn to identify yourself with your true being. Ahar garva parityajatam. Give up pride. This pride is nothing but silliness, isn't it? Taking pride in what is not actually your true nature. It may be one of your capacities. What of it? The real joy, the real fulfillment of human life is in knowing the self. So shake away this false pride, he says. Look at each step. You can go on and on each step. They are so powerful, each of these passages. But we will go quickly through this Panchakam because we are going to start with the Upanishad itself. So go to the next step. Dehe aham mati rujyatam. Give up identification merely with this body. When you actually get realization, you will understand what an insult it is to identify yourself merely with matter. And you take pride in it. This is the height of ignorance. And this is the basis of destruction. But to understand this, you must step into your real nature. When you understand the glory of your own being, you will naturally shy away from false identifications. So when you identify yourself with matter, you are undermining your true being. This is what he is saying. Give up identification with mere body. Buddha janair vada parityajatam. Don't argue with the wise. For heaven's sake, don't waste your time and don't waste their time also. Learn to intuit what they are trying to say. Because the nature of a realized man is he will stick to the truth no matter what. He will not move an inch from that. because his entire life energy is committed to that. So learn to draw from that life and don't waste that person's life through time through various arguments. Then Kshudha Vyadhischa Chikitsyatam. See, Kshudha is a Vyadhi according to Shankaracharya. Hunger, catering to the survival needs of your body. Attend to that so that your body consciousness does not come, it does not disturb you. Treat it as, he says Kshudha is Vyadhi, hunger is a kind of disease. Treat it. How will you treat it? Pratidinam bhiksha aushadam bhujyatam. By every day taking in the aushad, the medicine of bhiksha. Bhiksha, what does it actually signify? It means in the sannyas tradition, Madhukari bhiksha is recommended. You are collecting food bit by bit from various homes. Why? That is the way you gather what you require, and that is the way you radiate your good feelings, your good bhav, your aura to all these people. That is why bhiksha is recommended. That food is supposed to be holy. So that it's an exchange, it's a physical getting and a mental giving. So that is why he says, Pratidinam bhiksha aushadam bhujyatam. Then swadu annam natu yachyatam. Don't crave for tasty food or strong likes and dislikes about material things. Don't crave for that. Don't waste your energies on these things. The spiritual aspirant is of a totally different category. He will only go in one direction and not waste his energies on such things. Putting down mere sense pleasure, this is what it means. Then vidhi vasat praptena santushyatam. Be content with what comes to you through your prarabdha. Vidhi vasat means this. Whatever is your prarabdha, it's your karma. At some point I will explain to you what prarabdha karma means. What you are ordained to get, that will come to you anyway. So be content with that. Don't go out of the way and try to get gains for yourself and invest your time and energy in that. This is what he is saying. And that is why Shitoshnadi Vishayatam. Endure the pairs of opposites, heat, cold. Endure all the dualities of life. That is why Titiksha, forbearance. So when you learn to endure these opposites of life, you remain steady within yourself. This inner steadiness is very much required. See, if you don't have inner balance, slight things will make you psychologically imbalanced, and thus your energies go away. So learn to endure, keep calm within yourself and be the witness of everything from within, and you will be able to tackle every situation in life. People who are very reactive, well, they waste their energies in a sense, isn't it? So that is why he is saying, learn to endure all pairs of opposites. Natu vritha vakyam samucharyatam. Anya vacho vimunchata, the Upanishad says. Don't waste your time in unnecessary talk. In the first lecture I discussed this. What you talk will become strong vrittis in your mind. So don't waste time in unnecessary talk. One wrong word and you'll have to pay for it. So be controlled in your speech. It matters a lot. One of the first steps in yoga is to control speech. Then maintain, that is audasinyam abhipsyatam. Maintain an attitude of happy indifference towards the opposites of life. Don't engage with them or try to justify them or try to eradicate them strongly, repel them. Maintain a happy indifference towards them. Then he says, see, this is also important, Jana kriparnais turyam utsrijyatam. Overlook public sympathy and censure. So if you keep catering to the opinions of everybody, they will take away your energies. So this happens in the lives of many aspirants. Don't waste your time in unnecessary things. What does it matter if somebody is not aligned to your way of thinking? It hardly matters. You intensify your spiritual practice. That is all that matters. Then he says, and you see, this is the most important thing, ekante sukhamasyatam. learn to sit quietly and comfortably in one posture. Again, Raj Yoga has come in here. You see, all the yogas have come into this hymn. Learn to sit properly first. I told you, sitting and breathing. Learn to regulate these two, you will get the meditative mood. And if you still your body, to a great extent you still your mind. So learn to sit properly first. Today's sofas and cushions, and that is not the way to sit for yoga. You must have your own asana for yoga. Please take care of all this in your homes. That is why I recommend put one room aside for your spiritual practice. We always had that in our homes, isn't it? A puja room or whatever you call it, where you can do your spiritual practice intensely. Then he says, Paratare cheta samadhiyatam. Make the mind abide in Brahman. Paratare. Learn to connect with the awareness that you are, not with your thought world. Thought and awareness, two different things. In your own mind, please check and see. Thoughts are the surface bubbles. Deep within, you are more aware than identified with any thought. So catch that awareness and bring it to the forefront. This is the meaning. Paratare cheta samadhiyatam. Then Purnatma sukham susamikshatam. And see the self in all its fullness. See that that is your real nature. Through the practice of this meditation, the yoga practice, see that you are only aware, profoundly aware, and not identified with anything. You are identified by choice. But by default, you are only aware. You are always aware, occasionally identified, unless you want to reverse the process. So, this is your real nature. Recognize it, he says. Purnatma susamikshatam. And then that is why jagadidam tad badhitam drishyatam. There is no world apart from the self, that is why. It is an appearance in your own being. There is nothing has independent reality apart from your awareness. In your awareness, it appears. Understand the primacy of your awareness. The primacy of pure awareness, pure being. That is the real you. Understand you are Brahman. Then, prak karma pravilapyatam. Prak karma actually means sanchita karma. The entire stock of your karma, learn to dissolve it through spiritual practice, through sadhana, through good karma, through all these steps. Learn to dissolve your sanchita karma, so that you are not bound anymore by karma. Chiti balana pyuttarai slishyatam. And make sure you do not accumulate fresh bad karma, wrong attitude, wrong kind of karma. So how, in today's context, how do you accumulate this? Well, you should be able to undo what you do every day through spiritual practice. You have all sorts of exposures today. Let them be guided, let them be sattvic. You must make sure of this. Otherwise, well, every day you are only undoing what you are doing, and you are back to square one constantly. So take care of this, that is why he is saying. Then he says, Prarabdham tviha bhujyatam. Happily go through the experiences of prarabdha karma. Don't complain, don't blame, don't fight with people. Make peace with the things around you so that your inner life develops. Those who are truly intelligent will become like that. They may appear somewhat even dumb maybe from the outside. They are building their inner world very cautiously. So this is required to be done. And then finally he says, Atha parabrahma atmanasthiyatam. That is how after the fall of the body, you will abide in Brahman. You will abide in the limitless one. If you follow these steps, if you have sadhana of this kind, you see the entire summary of the Vedantic way has come here, isn't it? You will actually become Brahman. Brahmavid Brahmaiva bhavati. And this is the Jivan Mukti ideal. In this very life, you will taste ultimate bliss, because Brahman, pure consciousness, its another name is bliss. It is of the nature of existence and bliss. So you will taste that in this very life if you follow these steps of sadhana. When Shankaracharya was asked for a practical means to understand his great philosophy of Advaita, he gave out this Panchakam. He wrote this towards the end of his life. When his disciples asked him, give us a practical means to go into what you are saying. And he wrote this Panchakam. He has outlined 40 steps for us to take to live a life of intense sadhana and through that to gain this knowledge. Please understand, bringing your energies to a certain pitch is required to get the intuition of Brahman. It is not another thought. It is not an elevated thought. To bring your entire system to that intuition, you require sadhana. So if you are doing something of this at home, success will come into your life. You can be sure of that. So that is why these 40 steps, there are many technical terms here which in the course of our discussions we will be further discussing. Like for example the 3 karmas, Sanchita, Agami and Prarabdha, this is there. Then the concept of self in Vedanta, all this we will be discussing further on. I just went through this hymn quickly so that you get an outline for sadhana. Many of you have put questions regarding sadhana. So initially only I am telling you, regulate your life, organize your life as per this scheme. And then when you penetrate into Vedanta, it will hit you. It will appear very real to you because it's happening in you. So that is why I took up the Sadhana Panchakam. Usually a few classes are devoted to the Sadhana Panchakam. There's so much of information in this. So for homework, I will tell you, go through this hymn again and again over this week. Now you have it in your hands. Go through it again and again and you will get fresh insights every time. So from the next week onwards, we will start with the Upanishad itself. When you have this background of sadhana, when you are doing something at home, the Upanishads will actually mean something to you because they are only directly telling you about your real nature. They don't mince words. And this background is required to go into that knowledge. So I will stop this here, the Sadhana Panchakam. We have finished the 40 steps and I will go into your questions. For the next 15 minutes, we will have question answers. The questions have come to me. We again have 7 questions. How to stay committed to daily sadhana? Yeah, that's a very appropriate question for today's class. See, it's a matter of will, isn't it? If you strongly will that this is the priority of my life, this is what I want to achieve, then you will stay on the path of sadhana. But if that will is not fixed, if it's dilute, then of course you require constantly to somebody to push you into it. See, all this is not required in the life of a serious aspirant. You know what you want to achieve, you know where you want to go. No matter what you achieve in this life, it is limited only to this life. Please see this. And ultimately it's unfulfilling, even for this life. It's not going to go with you. Anything of this world is not going to go with you. So what will you carry with you? That is why please become serious about spiritual life. We must not say, oh, I could not do it today. It's a self-defeatist attitude, You can't say that. In fact, you should be able to say, I will be able to do this every day. Some of my very good students say this. In spite of their very heavy schedule and routine, they say, no Mataji, this we are going to do. So don't let this go. It's something very precious. Fix your will. That's the most important thing. Once you have made the sankalp, you will not move away from it. Whenever your will is faltering, you must fix it. This is what I will do. Then it will drag your emotions and your thoughts and everything into that. So fixing the will is the way to commit yourself to daily sadhana. Then, as you said earlier, culture awareness. What does it mean and how to practice? Yes, this is the question. It's a very important question. See, pure awareness does not require culturing. You are that always. The whole problem is you have identified with your mind, the thoughts in your mind. So now you have identified with the clouds rather than the sun. You have identified with the clouds in the sky. So these clouds, if you give them space, they will show you the sun from time to time. So this is sadhana means this. You are clearing the clouds. So here then we say you are culturing awareness. You are getting glimpses of pure being by clearing the clouds in the mind. So we use these words for that. Growing in awareness, culturing awareness. It only means this much. You are bringing your mind to a level of refinement which shows you the very depths of your mind. Awareness rather than just the thought process in your mind. Actually speaking, Vedanta does not give ontological primacy to mind. That is why you will not find mind-based sadhanas, although the prakriyas are ultimately to do with mind activity, but they help you transcend mind. But yoga, the psychology and philosophy of yoga, Patanjali Yoga Sutras or Raja Yoga, that has given ontological primacy to mind, to prakriti. That is why it will use such terms, culturing awareness, clearing the mind. Vedanta does not actually believe in mind. Isn't it the ultimate truth according to Vedanta is consciousness, not mind? The ultimate is Brahman. Prakriti has no place there. So it does not talk too much of culturing awareness, such things, or does not actually give ontological reality to mind. But we, being ordinary human beings, doing a little bit of sadhana, somehow trying to find our way, trying to get this insight into reality, you will proceed only through mind. That is why you use yoga as a way towards a stepping stone towards Vedanta. That is why you adopt techniques like clearing mind, silencing mind, culturing awareness, clearing the clouds so that you are able to see the sun. You use such language. So this is what I mean. The final insight will show you that only awareness is the reality. You are only aware. Thoughts come and come and go in that awareness. They don't actually have reality, but just now we are terribly identified with them. That is the whole problem. That is why we proceed. We are working topsy-turvy actually. We are identified with something we are not. So then you require such processes to take you out of that identification. So that is why we use terms like culturing awareness. Actually speaking, there is no culturing awareness. Pure awareness is all that there is. Nothing else actually exists because nothing else is permanent. Nothing else has independent reality. But the mind is too clouded and dense to intuit this in first person experience. That is why all these methods, techniques. Then the third question, I don't know how much you got out of this, but I am telling you from inside that this is the actual whole problem. That is why we use yogic means towards Vedantic ends. The third question is, my past actions stop my mind doing good actions. How to overcome that? You must fix your will and do the right actions, good actions. They will gradually help you overcome the tendencies towards bad actions and help you overcome that bad karma. If you just sit and say, oh, I have no inclination to do anything, that's a tamasic state of mind. At least do something. And if you commit yourself, fix your will and keep doing good, that's why I always recommend karma yoga. You must keep on doing good actions, whether you like it or not, whether somebody advised you or not, whether you have the energy or not, keep doing it for heaven's sake. That creates the foundation for the higher life. So you must fix your will on this. On all these matters, you see, it is only the committed will that takes the sadhak ahead. Because your emotions will always be saying something, your thoughts something else, the opinions of the people around you will be something else. To whom will you cater to? Stop all this activity and commit your will to the highest and go by that will. This is how success is born. You see the lives of all successful people. This is how they proceed. If you keep listening to your emotions, every day they will give you a different idea. So that's the answer. And the fourth question is, who is the seeker of self? Our mind, body, or the awareness itself? So just now the jiva is seeking self-knowledge, isn't it? The jiva is that entity who is identified with the body-mind complex, who thinks he is the enjoyer of the fruits of actions, he is the doer. So this deluded sense of being, which is identified with the body and mind, that is seeking the true knowledge of the self, the Atman. The jiva is seeking self-knowledge. Once you transcend your jivahood, which means disidentification from the body-mind complex merely, you will see you are verily what you are seeking. You are verily the self, and you know it only by being the self. There is this beautiful observation by Jalaluddin Rumi. He says, I knocked and the door opened, and then I realized I was knocking from inside. You are knocking from within. But you just now you are sort of identified with the body-mind complex. Think and see how strange this phenomenon is. But it's happening to us. So that's why we say aim at self-knowledge, the self that you already are. The fifth question is, as you said, regulation of life is important. How is it related with spiritualizing each and every moment of life? See, when you develop sattvic habits, it helps your mind stay in touch and in tune with your spiritual ideal. Isn't it? If the habits are not sattvic, if the habits are rajasic or tamasic, you cannot stay in touch with your spiritual ideal mentally. So that is why I recommend life regulation first. The first two classes have been devoted to this, isn't it? Learning to think positively and rightly, and the basics of sadhana. This is what we have dwelt upon. Then only we can take up the study of the Upanishads. Sometimes I get lazy, Mataji. How do I shake it off? Bring into your mind the taste of the higher life, the taste of those sattvic moments which you have felt, and you will shake it off naturally. Keep your vitality optimal through good habits, sattvic diet, and you can shake off laziness. So you will have to do it, and don't think you can do without it. A tamasic mind will understand nothing of Vedanta. Then the seventh question is, what is one most important thing, Mataji, for success in sadhana? The most important thing is earnestness, sincerity, fixing your will. Sri Ramakrishna used to say vyakulata, isn't it? That's the most important precondition for sadhana. You are utterly sincere and hence vyakul. So vyakul that tears come in your eyes when you speak of the spiritual ideal. You are so intense about it from within yourself. In fact, if you read Sri Ramakrishna's life, you will understand what I am talking about. Only vyakulata will take you to the goal. This inner intensity. I have understood the level of experience in this material world. What next is there? I intensely want to know that. And what, after all, am I going to carry with me? I intensely want to know that. So bringing your, such people are very calm by nature, but the vitality is just blooming. Vital energy is very high. So try to manufacture this state within yourself, where you're intensely vyakul, which doesn't mean you're intensely jittery or overactive on the outer front. You are deeply calm, but intensely vyakul, intensely earnest and yearning for the higher goal. If this is happening in your system, Sri Ramakrishna used to say, it's like the rosy dawn, the rosy pink color which comes. Now you know the sun is going to rise. So please bring these states into your spiritual practice. If every day you are practicing, after some time you can't stop the practice. because it is helping you grow, isn't it? Every day you will start feeling it. I'm getting something out of it. How can I stop it? So then you are continuously earnest, vyakul, yearning for the higher goal, and naturally the goal will come. Sri Ramakrishna's life, Vivekananda's life, please capture those times, that period of their life when they were into sadhana, and you will see what I mean. You must shake away everything. As people who want to do things, this also and that also, and bit by bit, they fall short of the ideal. You must awaken your entire vital energy and direct it towards the spiritual goal with intense yearning, which means your heart is crying for spiritual experience, and it will come. It's bound to come. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, he hears everything. God hears everything, even the footfall of an ant. So will he not hear our prayers? Will he not see our earnestness? If it is there, you are going straight to him. There is no doubt about it. So all the requirement for success in sadhana is this much only. You intensely yearn for the spiritual goal of your life. If that is there, your emotions will fall in place, your thoughts will fall in place, your will get fixed, the ambience around you will become very sattvic, and you proceed into the depths of sadhana. So you have to create this in your homes, in your life, by yourself. The classes are only, you can take the cue, you can take the inspiration from here, but it's a do-it-yourself technique. I pass on the baton to you. You must do it yourself. That is sadhana. We will end the class here today. Mother, bless us with the true spirit of sadhana. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Become Swami Vivekananda's messenger. Share the video with 3 of your friends.